Just learnt that you could build towers to a certain height from years and centuries of experience.
But what they had learned from experience did not hold true for this tower. The soil here was softer, and the tower would have fallen if they continued building. But they didn't. In 1178, construction stopped. Some historians say it was because the tower was tilting too much. Others say it was political and military troubles in Pisa. Whatever the reason, the delay lasted 100 years.
The tower survived only because the interruption allowed the soil beneath the tower to settle, to improve the resistance, and to support the final lot of the tower.
When work resumed in the 13th century, the tower was leaning about 7 inches to the north. As building continued upwards, the tower began to tilt in the opposite direction. This time, the masons tried to correct the tilt by making the stones on the south side taller.
They corrected the shape just to bring the tower in a vertical position so that the tower is not actually straight. It is like a banana. It is shaped in this way.
In 1278, work on the tower stopped just short of the final floor. 82 years passed before architect Tommaso Andrea de Pisa came on to build the bell chamber. By 1370, the tower was complete, and the original vision of the great square with its tower was realized. But as soon as the tower reached its full height, the lean started to accelerate.
They didn't realize that by putting the little bell chamber on top, it was really going to start moving. They didn't have that understanding at that time.
It was thought at the time that the bell chamber would stabilize the tower.
The bell chamber is designed to correct the problem, to balance out the whole pre-existing structure.
The 14th century solution was to build a different number of steps on each side of the bell chamber. On the north side were 4 steps, on the south 6. In total, the south side ended up being 34 inches higher than the north. To further balance the weight, larger bells were placed on the north side. Finally, Pisa's cathedral had its tower, and the tower had its voice. Next to the entrance of the tower, masons sculpted a relief of 2 ships entering the Pisan port as a tribute to Pisa's mighty marine power. Unfortunately, by this time, Pisa's marine power wasn't very mighty. The tower, conceived as a symbol of Pisa's grandeur, was now a crooked testament to the city's faded dreams.
I am sure that many explain to you in a precise, technical way why the tower is leaning. But if we wanted to joke, the tower could be leaning for another reason. Its imperfection could be considered a symbol of a death that was already inside the society of Pisa. The square was supposed to be completely paved in marble. It was never paved. The grass is still here. It wasn't supposed to be this way. And all of this gives the idea of what it was thought that this city would become and never became.
The people of Pisa would try, for centuries, to straighten the whole thing out. From the moment it was complete, the Leaning Tower was crooked and loved by the people of Pisa.
It is one of the miraculous structures of the Middle Ages, and especially since it started to fall, it gave it a kind of reclame that normally it might not have.
It quickly became the center of public life.
Big feasts and celebrations took place on the piazza. Standing on the tower's balconies, every family and even their guests had a privileged space. They could come out like they did from the balconies of their own palaces. It was like having a reserved box for the theater.
In 1590, the tower even played host to a little-known local scientist named Galileo. Legend has it he conducted his famous experiments with gravity from its bell chamber. While the tower's lean wasn't increasing much, the building was sinking. By the 19th century, the tower was slumping down about 10 feet into the ground, and a part of the first floor was completely obscured. And in 1838,